Now, it's just conceivable that when most people hear the idea they're not in control of what's going in their heads, they will find the idea ludicrous. But I assure you that's furthest from the truth, because you can actually implant a thought into somebody's head without them realizing it. And the easiest way to do that is by defining the whole idea of success. Now, if I can define that, let's say, this piece of worthless quarry rock is the most valuable item on the face of this planet, then trust me, whole industries will be dedicated to just finding this piece of rock. Even if it exists in abundance, the whole economy will make sure that there is only enough supply to maintain the price of this worthless rock. The point of my sharing here is to explain to you how sheer illusion can become reality, right? And it's something that many of us may not be consciously aware of. And this is disturbing. It's disturbing because if we are all really interested in the whole idea of freedom, in a broader sense, not only freedom of speech, but freedom to think the things that we really think. Not the things we want to think, because the things we want to think has been sunk into our heads by external sources. But I'm referring to things that we actually internalize, and things which come deep from our well of consciousness. And this is something that everyone who's interested in the idea of freedom has to work on. And if you read books, as I do, you find that many great authors have spent a lot of time on this subject. It's a subject that a lot of people don't like to go into, because what it does is it reveals your own vulnerability, and it actually exposes you, because for once you're put on a petri dish and you're taken apart, and then your whole life is put in a microscope, where people really go through the process of finding out why do you say that, why do you think like that, and why do you behave in that particular way. And this is something that I've thought about in the context of why do so many people find it okay to live in a pressure cooker like Singapore. I find that the only reason why they can continue to do that is because many of them have not really sat down on a table in a quiet place with a piece of paper and figured out to themselves what are the really important things in my life. What should my goals be? Now, this idea is inconceivable because most of us will assume that our goals are internalized or self-internalized, and that's not the case. My point is, from the very moment that you can speak or even think or begin the process of assimilating information, the whole idea of success has already been subconsciously defined for you, has already been subconsciously programmed for you to seek out certain set pieces. I need a car, I need a credit card with a 25k extended limit, I need that condo, I need that room with a view. Now all these things are subtly programmed into our state of thinking. And what makes the whole idea possible is what I call the yellow brick road. The idea that a man can dedicate himself to a way of life, be it academia or perhaps even excelling in what he does. But again, I'm moving away from the whole subject, because if I'm going to be tight about this and stick to the subject of freedom, I think that unless we reclaim back the whole idea of how to define freedom, and then that requires us also for us to ask ourselves whether freedom is something that is truly ours, in the sense that it is something that came deep from inside us. Then I think that we're always going to be living in a pressure cooker, especially in Singapore. The reason why I say this is because there can be no such thing as freedom in a state of ignorance. Now that condition does not exist. And if you don't even bother to still your mind and to empty your mind of frivolous thoughts and to sit down and to do the serious business of determining where you want to go, why you want to go to that place, then I don't care what you are today. You could be the most successful banker. You could be the most successful scholar. But what has actually happened in your life is one whereby you only have the illusion of control. You only have the appearance of freedom. You don't have true freedom in the true sense of the word, because the goals that you internalized was not something that came from within you. It was something that was processed, and it was something that was fed to you very much in the way you would feed ducks or pigs. And we all know where they end up, don't we? So, I mean, people will tell me that this is too philosophical or too cheap. I say just, you go your life. You go down the road and you go around thinking that life is simple. It ain't. You know, because I can assure you, if you switch on the TV and you see a man with a white shirt that tell you that you should go to this university, you should study this vocation, you should buy that house, you should get that girl, and you should propagate like rabbits, well, I can assure you that you end up ugly, poor, fat, and the worst thing is no one in their right mind will ever want to fuck you. And it's very simple. It's simple because, as I said, if you did not bother to do all these things, such as craft out and profile and shape the whole idea of the goal, and most importantly, whether it's worthwhile to pursue that goal, then you'll never be your own man. And that's why you're contented to live in a place like Singapore that is a pressure cooker. Not by choice. Because choice is something that only comes from knowledge, and knowledge is power, great power.